All right, folks, we're back. Welcome to the DMB Top 25. I'm Mike Vasilikos. Brian Nick is with me. We are ranking the top 25 Dave Matthews Band songs, studio recordings, no live stuff, no unreleased tracks, covers, one offs, that kind of stuff. You can follow us on YouTube at the DMB Top 25, same handle on Instagram. Email is dmbtop25 at gmail.com. And I want to say this thank you to everybody who has watched, who has followed, who has subscribed. Brian and I, we are doing this because we love the band, we love the music, and we've been friends for a long time. And this is just like a fun endeavor for us. This is not our profession. It is just a little fun thing. So if 10 people watched, great. If a million people watch, great. But to everybody who has taken the time, we appreciate it very, very much. I do want to point this out, and my camera's doing that weird thing again. But a couple people, and we do know them. 029028 on Instagram. He has been chirping us
No,
about
that
our
guy.
picks.
No,
He's
that guy.
saying they're all too low.
What do you mean that? What does it mean too low?
That all our songs should be higher so far.
Oh, so he thinks the songs we're going to talk about today are too high.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
Maybe.
But I appreciate him watching and listening. Keep in mind, there's only 120 tracks, and these are the top 25. So it is the upper echelon of Dave tunes. And JJM Golf emailed us. Yeah, he liked our best venue question the other night, a couple weeks ago, and he said that was so good. There are so many good choices, and he said the old Spectrum in Philly, but I think he means the first Union Center when it was like the venue that it is now. It was like renamed a couple times.
Maybe. I just remember that being the steepest
That was
incline
his
ever.
comment. That was
Yeah.
his comment. He said you felt like you were climbing on an escalator to your seats. So thank you for taking a question and running with it, JJM Golf. The way it works as we get into it, Brian and I have each made our list of our top 25 DMB studio tracks. We do not know each other's lists, and each episode we reveal a portion to you. And for a quick review of our picks so far, Brian, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to start with yours, starting with number 25, Drunken Soldier, number 24, Rapunzel, number 23, Samurai Cop, parentheses, Oh Joy Begin, number 22, Pig, number 21, Lion Our Graves, number 20, Why I Am, number 19, The Space Between, number 18, Too Much, number 17, So Much to Say, and number 16, So Damn Lucky. A couple of good tracks in there.
Couple.
My top 25. 25, Lover Lay Down. 24, Too High. 23, So Right. 22, Best of What's Around. 21, You Never Know. 20, Grace Is Gone. 19, Stay. 18, The Space Between. We were right next to each other on that one.
Yeah, that was cool.
17, Trippin' Billies. 16, Dancing Nancy's.
Woo,
Wow. It's a
good
mouthful. We're
stuff.
at the halfway point.
Are we?
Halfway through. I mean, yeah, this is like the middle five of the top 25.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the
Uh,
meat of it.
yeah, this is it. So the way I think about these songs, these are songs that I would love to see them play at any live show. I'm jumping up and down if they play any of these songs, not skipping them if they come up on the radio ever. These are for me, like, this is where you're really entering into like the indispensable,
The top
uh,
15 you're talking about.
yeah, the top
Yeah,
15.
okay.
Yeah, as opposed to, like love the previous 10 songs. As you said, we're doing top 25 out of 120 tracks. So these are still the creme de la creme, but these are really getting to be the essentials. Um, Number 15, I'm going to start. I was a little pissed at you because I didn't think this was going to be on your list. And it was your number 25. It's my number 15, Drunken Soldier.
Whoa,
I
whoa.
know. So I was shocked when you picked the 25, and I had to like restrain myself because I knew I had it higher. Um, I mean, this is from Away from the World. This is going to, the last track. I think I said this in an earlier episode. I love the last tracks of a lot of these albums. I feel like they just
Yeah,
kind of experiment more. These songs are very musically interesting. The contrast between loud and quiet in this song, it almost feels like, as we said, a Frankenstein type of song,
yeah,
a
yeah.
bunch of things patched together. What I love about this, though, is that this feels like a song that had already been road tested before they recorded it live. And I know it wasn't, right? Unless there's something I'm missing. But this feels almost like a throwback, like the way they really introduce it almost feels like you're watching or listening to a live track. The way it starts off, they're kind of noodling around and then it just hits you. with like a big chord, and then
Hmm.
you're off to the races. Um, Again, love the lyrics, seize the day. There's some stuff in there about manners, being kind to people. I was like,
Yeah,
Dave is very well mannered himself. He's a very well mannered guy. Whenever you see him
he is a well mannered guy.
interacting with people, a lot of thank yous, a lot of pleases. Seems like a very polite guy. And there's this is some of what's in these lyrics kind of came through there too. But this was a listening to that whole album and then getting to this song and being like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
I love this. I listen to it all the time. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Great song. Yeah. There's like little pieces of fatherly advice, I think we had said in the last one
Yeah,
that sounds like in
there
there.
definitely are. Yeah.
Ambitious tune. Yeah,
Yep.
absolutely. All right. We at least checked the away from the world box, each of us.
We did. I don't think anybody had both you and I picking Drunken Soldier on their bingo card.
No, no, that's a total surprise and pretty cool. All right. Number 15. It's pretty high. It's pretty
Yeah,
high.
it is. It is.
Number 15 for me, from Under the Table and Dreaming, Typical Situation.
All right.
Okay. Here's what I want to say about Typical Situation. I believe often an overlooked song from the band. You had big hit singles on that record. Ants, What Would You Say? Satellite to a degree. They were on the radio, they were on MTV. And then you have like these big fan favorite tracks, right? Warehouse and Dancing Nancy's. But I think this song deserves to be up with them a little bit. Aesthetically, it's got that real pensive start. And then it seesaws between this like state of like feeling very ominous, and then it gets to like the chorus, which as the song unfolds gets like more joyous and joyous.
Yeah.
And then by the time you hit that flute, is this our first flute song? It
It
may be, right?
might be. Might be.
So Leroy hits that flute solo, and it's like pure elation. I mean, it's amazing, and I just absolutely love the way that song unfolds. And in terms of like the song itself, I think it kind of challenges the ideas of like conformity in society a little bit. And you think about when so many of us were discovering Dave, we were in our young adult years, our teenage years, and you're in your kind of like you're being molded, right? And like it's the first time like when music, at least for me, that I was just like, oh, like I don't have to necessarily think the same way as they're telling me to think. I can dress how I want to dress. I can listen to different kinds of music that isn't just on the radio. And I think Dave, in a sort of subliminal way, like helped me challenge some of those ideas with songs like this. That whole like you don't have to get in line, as he says in the song. And the band is sort of like a unconventional band by every means, and song's got a little hippie vibe to it too. It's got a very loose feel, and I dig that. Typical Situation, number 15.
Yeah, and I like what you said about like the songs that start to feel ominous and then like break into like there's a clearing almost, right? You got these clouds
Yeah.
and it clears out and you get this happy refrain. There's a lot of songs in the catalog like that. The lyric, it all comes down to nothing. Don't think about that one too hard. It'll break your brain. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to take away from that. Great choice. Typical Situation. All right. I think people are going to be familiar with number 14. It's for me, it's Two Step. Two
Oh,
Step is the song, I think the first time going through Crash, the one that I really was putting on repeat over and over again. The
sure. Yeah.
second track on there, and like I think I'd heard maybe Too Much and So Much to Say, and Two Step was sort of like was like, wow, that's a different type of song. And I actually originally had this at 15 and Drunken Soldier at 14. But one of the reasons I reversed them is because I think Drunken Soldier owes a lot to
To
the
Two
especially
Step.
what Two Step became live with like
Yeah.
again like big beginnings. I was like, I can't put Drunken Soldier over Two Step. Um, I don't know. Is this song about Noah's Ark? I think it is, right? There's at least some of that in there. Like
Yeah. He references things, you know what I mean?
yeah,
And I don't
no,
know if
but
it's
like
like
we're climbing two by two to be sure these days continue. Feels like it's about Noah's Ark. I didn't pay too much attention in Catholic education, but I'm pretty sure that's the story. Um, it's just hard to imagine another band singing this song. Like who's covering Two Step, right?
you can't cover that song.
No, it
No.
just like it's this is again, this is what it means for me. Like when you get down to these top 10 or 15, like these are songs that you really can't imagine any other band singing. There's great songs. Like I said that it was about Stay, but Stay, a lot of 90s and early 2000s bands probably could have sung Stay. But I just feel like this is Dave Matthews. And
You
this
know,
has become like this is metastasized into a much bigger deal
right.
live. But I love the recording; it's so clean. You got Tim Reynolds, doing that kind of haunting strumming in the beginning. Just love the way this one came together on the record.
Um, you sort of, if we're doing studio tracks and in making our list, we are kind of held to that, right? So
Yep.
we talk a little bit about the live stuff here in the series, but that didn't loom in our decision making process in terms of like where we're ranking these songs. Would I would assume you would have, if we were doing like just overall, like two step would probably be a little bit higher.
Yeah, I can tell you there are songs ahead of this that, I probably wouldn't be as stoked to see live for reasons that will be obvious. But just this is just for me, like for my memory of listening to Crash for the first time, hearing Two Step, and then kind of like trying to divorce it from this is now like one of his signature, closing tunes.
Yeah, yeah, awesome, great. I mean, classic Dave tune.
Yep.
All right, number 14, Two Step. On this side of the ledger, a song that we hit last week on the show. You had it at number 17. I've got it at number 14, only three spots apart, pretty close.
Yep.
Trippin' Billies.
Billy's.
I won't, we talked at a good length about it last week, but, just another celebrated Dave tune. It's Live for the Moment. It's that, eat, drink, and be merry, for tomorrow we die. Great bumper sticker. Reading it feels a little bit gloomy, but when you actually hear him play it, like, it's actually happy Dave in some ways. It's
It
about
sure
like,
is.
it's love of togetherness, of being with your friends and family and that kind of stuff. The beach imagery that you talked about last week, I
It,
always think of this as a beach song.
it is. It is. Well, I mean, it's. I think it's a nude beach song actually. If you're
A
like really,
nude beach song.
it's a nude beach song.
There was one of those on Long Island that I stumbled into once. We won't
Yeah,
go down that
by
road.
accident.
Yeah. um, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Um, that's the story for
Is
another
that
day.
pun intended? Is that
Yeah, yeah. Um, but what, we got into it last week, so I'll keep it short on Trippin' Billies. But I did have a new thought as I was kind of listening. I listened to all these songs again today to get ready for the show. Live versus studio, is Tripping? Yeah, there's a question for you. Is
Yeah.
and before you answer, wait. Is Tripping Billies a better studio song or a better live song?
I think studio because this is one that's interesting. Like for being such a signature song for them, it's not really one that they've changed a lot. I mean, a lot,
That's it.
right? But now I will say there's other songs that are even more signature, Dave, that are much that are largely similar too. But for whatever reason, like when this is the closing song of a concert, it's not like the your number one choice for like what's the second encore going to be,
Yeah,
right? Because they
we
just kind
talked.
of play that song from the album and it's like it's great, and then it sort of ends.
Yeah, and it's got intensity and it builds
Yeah.
and it's great. But we talked about "Lie in Our Graves," and I mentioned the whole like that song has so much space and they have this canvas to work with. So
Yes.
you can get "Lie in Our Graves" 6 minute version live or 18-minute version,
Sure.
right? Tripping Billies. I did a little test today.
Compact.
I went through like a whole bunch of live records that I had of Dave, and I went through like 8 Trippin' Billies or 10 Trippin' Billies. They're all between like 5 and 7 minutes. Like they
Yeah.
don't vary at length at all. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I think it speaks to what a good, it's great on the record. But it actually doesn't change that much live. And I almost surprised myself, I guess, with that.
It's also like the 11th track on Crash. That's crazy.
Yeah.
It should be the first track,
Yeah.
right? I mean, if you were
It
if you
would
were
be a
doing
great,
something,
yeah, it'd be a great opener.
yeah,
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
opener. And a great concert opener too. Like nothing gets you excited like hearing that those bum
Yeah.
bum
Yeah.
like that's yeah.
I agree.
But,
I
yeah.
agree. All right. Triple
Cool.
Billy's 14 for me.
All right. My number 13 is from Under the Table and Dreaming Warehouse. Um,
Whoa. Okay.
it's yeah. Okay. Fan club is named after this song. I think that gets a little, gives you a few extra points. We talked about the contrast, the songs that sound a little sinister but then get happy. This is like for me the most ultimate version of that. Like this is like part rhyme and reason and part proudest monkey at times. Like how could you have more of a? It sounds almost tropical when you get to the part where Boyd is doing the plucking on the violin.
One of my
Almost like there's
favorite bridges of all time.
like a
Dave
ukulele,
Bridges.
like
Yeah.
like and but in the beginning, it's like it sounds like, oh, this is going to be one of these like kind of sinister, angry
Yes. Yeah.
sounding songs. But and again, this is one that's much different live. I was listening
Then
to the
on the
listener
record.
supported version versus the album. The beginning is entirely different. And now this has become such a fan favorite song. Nobody objects to hearing a 9 or 10 minute version of Warehouse live.
No, you
Um,
want it. Yeah.
no, you want it. And again, it morphs and changes as it goes. It comes in and out of like tonal shifts. By the time it builds into the "That's My Blood,"
Yep. Yep.
which
Yep.
is so intense, and you've been building and building up. It's just a great like sort of catharsis and release at the end. The only question I have about the song is, what is the warehouse? I think this is a song about your body and your soul, especially at the end. The warehouse is sort of like that shell of a body you have, but it's really about what goes into it and what ultimately pours out of it, from what I can gather from the lyrics. But there's some superstition in there too. It's not the most clear through line in terms of the literal lyrical meaning of a song.
Yeah. So many of these under the table songs have that sort of, they unfold in really unconventional ways for
Yeah,
songs.
yeah,
They
yeah.
sort of like like I was saying, actually I don't know if I said this about typical situation, but like the idea of like them, it seesaws back and forth and you never know like when it's going to take off, but they all do eventually take off, which is really great. uh Warehouse, just an absolute stone cold DMB classic.
I feel like it's a
That's third.
classic DMB for hardcore DMB fans. It's not
Yeah.
if you're not that familiar, this isn't going to be in your top 25 or maybe top 10, right? If you got one. But I think the folks who have gone to dozens of concerts, like this is one that you want to hear every time.
All right, Warehouse. That was 13. You had it
13,
13,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
All right. Same album. We're in heavy under the table category.
we are.
What would you say
All right.
at number 13? And I it I might get chirped on this one too, but here's my case for what would you say? Lead single from their debut album.
Oh
First
yeah.
song. First
Yeah.
song, right?
First
Top
video.
10 top 10 Billboard hit, video on MTV, peaked at number 9 on the Billboard charts. This song literally, and I know charts and stuff like that don't really matter to a lot of fans, especially like a fan base like Dave, and I totally understand that and I respect it. But it so matters, like in breaking a band and getting a band started, and it set the stage for everything that followed. And so often you don't get that first single, you don't get a first hit, you don't even get a chance for a second one, right?
Mhm.
So things can unravel so quickly in the music industry, but they got it. And it's the perfect bite-sized blend of everything that they do. Like
Yeah.
great interplay, funky tune. It's got the Dave factor.
Yeah. You hear the saxophone, you hear the violin, you're like, this
Yeah.
is different. Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, Carter's outstanding on this track. Yeah, the Roy sax solo into the John Popper
John Popper.
harmonica. It's like
Like this is
supercharged.
is this before peak Blues Traveler? Were people already aware of Blues Traveler?
No, I think Blues Traveler, I think laid some groundwork there because remember, like Blues Traveler had the Horde tour and Dave played like under them on the bill
Got it. Got it.
for
Got
the
it.
Horde. Yeah, at least at like the whatever, like the first couple of years there. But you know, they captured what they do, all of it in under 4 minutes, and that's always the biggest obstacle for if you want to call David Jam Band. It's always the biggest obstacle for these bands because they can't get songs under like 6 minutes,
Mhm.
5
Yeah.
minutes.
Yeah.
But they got everything that they do with the live energy intact, and I think it's like it's a great track, and it is a huge moment for the band too. So number 13, what would you say?
And a very strange music video with scary clowns and band members' faces appearing on like inanimate objects. I remember when Leroy's face pops up on that like cabinet or whatever, and his eyes pop, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
"What
Gosh,
is
I
this?
haven't
What am I
watched that video in
watching?"
so long. I should have watched the video. That would have been
It's
good.
awesome. It's on the DVD of the Dave Matthews video,
I
so you
have
can
that
watch it.
somewhere. It's
It's
stashed
somewhere
away.
buried.
I don't have a DVD player anymore, but I have DVDs.
That's great. You have the DVD. I've got a VCR, VCH tapes with no VCR. All right. Number 12. This is going to be a callback to one of yours. This is from Crash, Lie in Our Graves. This was your
Ooh,
number
all right.
21. I dare people not to smile at the opening guitar riff of this song. This is one of those when it's live and you hear that opening guitar, like you're like, I'm in for it. I'm just gonna lay back for the next 12 minutes or so. I'm gonna enjoy the song. I'm gonna enjoy whatever they do with the massive amounts of empty space.
Yeah.
As you mentioned, when we were talking about Trippin' Billies and the contrast here, I love the middle of the song where there's really not much going on.
Yeah.
The chord,
Just
I,
floats.
the chord changes give me chills. Like just listening to them and imagining a solo over them. The Tim Reynolds solo is very understated. He's doing a little bit of, a little bit of guitar in the middle of the song, but when they do it live, like there's so much other things they can
Yeah.
use to fill it. Um, so much restraint. And then you get that emptiness, right? That last chord. And then he kicks in with, I can't believe that we would lie in our graves, which is the first time, right? Like that's like,
Yep.
oh, this is the song, right? It just makes me smile. It's an indispensable Dave Matthews song. My favorite, I think, of these sort of upbeat, kind of happier, live for the moment type songs.
Did you have any internal battles having lie in our graves over two step?
No,
No.
no. I just
You
did.
say it confidently. I love
No,
it.
I know that that's not like the consensus. Like you go to a show and he closes with "Lie in Our Graves," you're probably not as happy
Oh,
as.
I don't.
But
Well,
I
yeah,
think,
as two step.
yeah.
Right.
But that's not what that's not what we're doing. It's like when I listen to that album, the song I go to first, between Two Step and Lie
Yeah.
in Our Graves, is Lie in Our Graves.
Hey, that's fair. That's what
Yeah,
this is all about.
yeah,
Well, I love it too. So, lie in our
yeah.
graves, number 12.
Just not quite
Uh,
as much as I do.
you had this one at number 20. I'm going Grace is Gone.
All right.
Um, yeah, from Busted Stuff. And to quote you, sad listen, but a great listen. And indeed it is. It is a beautifully penned song. The chorus is so strong. The swell, the
Yeah.
buildup, um, you know, uh, it's it's just so good. And live, it's like emotional,
Mhm.
And part of me, and this is, we're getting into the nitty gritty, and the degree of differences of some of these songs is really tough. And this is one that I slid a couple times, and part of it's because like I'm not, and I think I've said this on the series already, but I'm not the biggest fan of the recorded Busted Stuff, the record. I do
Right.
agree with you. I think this is one of the better songs recorded on that record.
Yep. And also better
But
than it was on the Lily White sessions. I think it got better.
but I do think like when you compare it to what you've experienced with it live now, like this probably should have been top 10 for me. You know what I mean?
All
Like
right.
if they nail the studio recording, like this is like, you
Okay.
know,
Yep.
upper echelon top 10 in here. But I've got it at number 12. Grace is Gone.
Great sing along song as long as you don't think too much about the lyrics.
Yeah, yeah. It is a sad song, it's kind of a heartbreaking song. And I think you may have mentioned this, but I kind of thought it was going to be the start of a more countrified version of Dave
Yeah.
to a degree.
But he went
And
southern, more southern instead of country, it felt like. With,
yeah, a little bit like on
like
Big
Louisiana
Whiskey.
Bayou and
Yeah.
especially with Big Whiskey. I mean, that was a very kind of,
And
southern
Stand
album.
Up was way more of a rhythmic record, but I think that's because of Mark Batson. They wanted to do something a little bit different.
Yeah.
But I thought like they could have leaned into that a little bit, and I would have been all for it.
They probably have a lot more in places where they haven't captured quite as much of a following. Like a lot of artists that have gone country have like, discover those new fans, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking
12,
of
Grace is
sad,
Gone.
we're already at number 11, last song for the episode. And it's one that's been on your list already. Your number
Oh,
16, my number 11, So Damn Lucky. Um,
oh, yeah.
Everything's different, my head in the clouds. I mean, for me, I think we've talked about this, but let's have this discussion again. Like I feel like this is you say you took the song very literally, like it's about a car crash, right?
Right.
To me, it's almost like this is like Dave has sort of arrived at this point. This is a very self-confident record, Some Devil, but it's also just, I think, a particularly self-confident and self-conscious song. I think he's shedding the angst that was in a lot of the songs we're talking about. A lot of the songs that have the weird tonal contrast is when Dave was, there's anger and then there's anxiety, right? And he's going through stuff. And this almost feels like I can look back on that. Like there was like the feelings that I had, the feeling that I was spinning out of control, that I didn't know how things were going to go. But by 2003, when he's recording the song as a solo project with those kind of all-star musicians, he's arrived. There's no more like anxiety about the future as much, right? Um, and I think he's looking back on this that what could have been a more perilous things could have gone differently, but he got through it. And you just think of that ride, that 10-year ride between 94 and 2003, and coming out on the other side of it as well as he did. But there's still that note at the end, take me back just before I got spinning, just before I got dizzy. There's still that like, let's look back on the, this I think this other period where not everything was as put together, but there's still something to miss about it. And I feel like a lot of the types of songs that Dave was writing after this album were just markedly different than before. More confident. I think I frankly his love songs got more confident and competent. We'll talk about that maybe in the next couple episodes. Like it's just everything felt a bit more mature. There's more kind of fatherly songs, more self-assured. Not as many of these sort of twangy, kind of quirky songs.
Yeah,
I feel like this is a good midpoint in that
yeah,
respect.
yeah. The looseness, they tidy things up a little bit after
Yeah.
that point, and yeah, such a great sounding record. Well,
Mhm.
I love that one too. And this is sort of interesting, not to move on too quickly, but my number 16 was your number 11, and your number 16 is my number 11.
All right, we're doing some heavy under the
How
table
about
enjoyment.
that, man? I mean,
Yeah,
that's kind of crazy, isn't
I
it? Yeah,
know.
Dancing Nancy's. Um, back to sort of the idea of not unlike typical situation, but like questioning our identity a little bit on this song. Again, signature Dave tune, non-single, right, in that category. I think it's one of Boyd's best tunes. He adds so much drama on that song with the violin, doesn't he?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And the end of the song, I don't even know that like you could call them solos, but like Boyd and Roy, and you were talking about sort of the processing on Roy. Yeah, the way they like it's not like a battle. You know how they
No,
sometimes
they're just
battled
both
on
soloing at the
stage?
same time. Yeah,
It's just this like back and
yeah.
forth that's like chaotic and amazing. And you didn't hear things like that. Oh, at least I didn't hear things. And it's funny, this in juxtaposition is so damn lucky and the confidence, you know, not that I think he's unconfident, but he's so loose on this song and his vocal delivery, right? Like latter stages of this band, I feel like they aim to be perfect with everything they do. Like everything has to sound so tidy and so well tuned and so boxed in to a degree. Unlike Drunken Soldier, maybe that's exception. But
You're a little hairy.
what? But what I love about like his vocal delivery and some of the stuff on this track, it's not perfect. You know what I mean? Like he's growling singing at
Yeah,
times.
yep.
Like he's hitting like weird falsetto notes. It's something I always loved about the band, that kind of looseness. And Dancing Nancy's just has that.
Love it. I love that. I love that. Like sort of this. Now that we have like our 25 through through 11, there is a lot of overlap. Not necessarily in the same exact spots, but I mean we've got a lot of the same tunes. I don't think that's an accident. Um,
Yeah, I mean these
just,
songs are gonna come up. They're
yeah,
the best of the best, but where they land is kind of interesting. And
it's
it's
kind of
I love
interesting.
hearing your thoughts on it.
Yeah, but you could take 20 through 11 for me, and like, you could toss it in an etch a sketch and come out with a different order, and I wouldn't battle with you too much about
This
it.
was I thought in the whole thing 20 to 11 was the toughest.
Mhm. Yeah.
Like I was doing a lot of sliding in this realm.
Yes. And I feel like in contrast, and I won't give anything away, but like 10 through 6 is going to be different. And I think I think we'll find out a lot about each other's, at least in terms of our Dave Matthews taste, maybe about us as people based on those songs, which are more kind of like personal as opposed to these are the songs I'm just like stoked to listen to all the time.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, we're through. Getting into the top 10 the next time we meet, which is kind of crazy. This
Unbelievable.
has been super fun so far, Mr. Nick. Thanks again, everybody who has watched, who has followed, who has subscribed.
We have a
Um,
kicker. We need to do a
I
kicker.
know, I know.
Okay,
I
okay,
got to do
okay.
some business. I got to do
Okay, okay,
business
okay.
too.
Yeah.
On YouTube at the DMB Top 25. Same handle on Instagram. Email us DMB Top 25 at gmail.com. It's the number 25. And yeah, like JJM Golf, if you want to email us your reaction to one of these questions, certainly do that. Tell your friends about it, subscribe on YouTube, all that good stuff. What is our kicker question this week?
Our kicker question might involve tangentially JJM Golf, if it depending on how we answer. The best live closer that you've been
That we've experienced?
present for. Now, I
Yeah.
guess I was going to say the best encore. Like I would say, it can be the most memorable closing song, or just like he comes back out. Typically, for those of people who are uninitiated, he'll play two songs, one kind of quiet one more kind of definitive
Yeah. Yeah.
signature. Not always though. So like I'd love to hear from you. Like, what's the most memorable closer you can remember at a Dave concert?
Well, I went with a different one. There's one that's pretty iconic, and I think you'll take it. I think, and if you don't, we can talk about it still. But
Yeah, we can talk about it. We can talk. I
yeah,
think I know what you mean.
I'm gonna go because we were both at that show together. But I'm gonna go actually 2024. I chased Last Stop for years. I chased it for years.
You're
I heard
right.
it, I think in '06 or something like that. It was in the middle of the set and it was good, but like Last Stop in the middle of the set, I think is always kind of like doesn't hit the same. Like the
Yep.
last stop should be the last song.
Right.
And in at Madison Square Garden in 20, hold on, I want to get my dates right on this. At Madison Square Garden in 2024, he closed with Last Stop, but I think they were up against a curfew and they didn't do the long outro.
Right.
Like the
It was we were there. I was there with
no no
you.
no 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 that one they did. They did the like hidden song outro.
Okay.
So
I'm thinking of a different year.
they played Last Stop, and before they got into the like whole like dreamy outro, like the outro on the record, come in for the code for that part,
Yep.
they
Yep.
cut it before that. Like they just like
Because somebody
did
told
this
them I had to
like
be out of the building.
they did this like hard end. So I'm like, I finally got Last Stop closer. It was like, almost 28 years of seeing it and I hadn't seen it. And then they abruptly
And by the
didn't
way,
do it.
we
But
had been to shows that were the last stop on the tour where we thought for sure he was going to play
and he
last
didn't.
stop,
He
and he
didn't.
didn't play it.
No,
Yeah.
chased it for years. Like I said, I'd heard it once mid set. 2024 MSG, they close with it, but they don't do the outro. And then the two shows later that I see him in my thing, Camden 2025. It was a Saturday night show in July. He did it, and he did it with the outro. And they were getting to the point. I'm like, oh, don't cut this short. Don't cut it short. Don't give me the short Last Stop. Give me that thing. And when they finally like broke into it, I just like almost started crying. I'm like, it was like you've been chasing this thing for 30 years and
The
you
right way.
finally got it. It was cathartic. It was awesome.
Great. All right. Now, okay, so
You.
I think I know the one you're were referencing earlier, but I'm going a little bit different direction. Also Madison Square Garden. Sometime before the show, 2002 is the one I'm thinking of, where he closes with Halloween and Ants Marching.
Yeah.
And
Was
I
it
think
Halloween Ants or was it Ants Halloween?
it was Halloween Ants, because he played Halloween and we thought that was going to be the only one, right? We thought he was going to do a one and done encore. And I think was it JJM Golf was with us, I think, maybe in that at that show.
He was at that show with us.
Yeah.
I always thought it was okay. So it was Halloween Ants.
Yeah. So that's the best feeling is like when you think, oh, this is good, they're going to
It's
do it one and
over.
done. And then they
Yeah.
just kick into ants right from. I was like, oh, all right, I'm getting like a double whammy here. The one I think you were gonna, we
You're right.
both
It's
thought the other was
Halloween
it.
Ants.
Yeah. So I think the one we both thought the other one would pick would be Two Step in the Rain in
Yeah.
2001.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which from I can't say that was the most memorable like song. We've seen him do Two Step, before, but the fact that it was pouring rain at
Oh, it was
Giant Stadium,
amazing.
and it just like the
Surreal.
sky just opened. It was thunder and lightning, and you couldn't tell what the bass line was versus the thunder. The only
And the
drawback is
band
that
played into it. They played into it.
they did. It was
Yeah.
it was incredible. I feel like we were all in some kind of danger in that show, and I think a bunch of people. This is in the days of flip phones. Had to put their phones in a bowl of rice the next day to try to get the water out of it. But worth it to say we were there. People still like if you say Two Step in the Rain, people still know what you mean.
Oh yeah, it was amazing, and yeah, that is actually the most memorable closing
It is.
thing that
It
I've
is.
ever
Yeah.
seen. Yeah, but I avoided it because I thought you were going to pick it, and then neither of us
And we
picked it.
just both
But
did the same. Yeah. All right.
yeah, anyway, all right. Again, Brian, Nick, I'm Mike Vasilikos at the DMB Top 25. Give a follow, subscribe on YouTube. Thank you for watching. We appreciate it. Brian, eat, drink, be merry, my friend. I will talk to you soon.
Same to you.
See you.